Thank you very much. I think that my personality will not be able to cope with this pulpit here. Uh, Let me put it like this: you need to have a lot of care and respect for others to be standing here, not being able to speak Polish, but say "Dzień dobry." This was done by our previous speakers. They did that, and I will greet them in their languages. This goes to our previous speakers. I can see the professor smiling, so thank you once again. So we will have a zebra, we will have a femur, we'll have the brain, and we'll have a monk. And it all has to be connected somehow. And I hope that the microphones will be able to cope with my voice. Why zebras don't have ulcers and people do have them? What do I do on a daily basis? I meet fantastic people. I work with them in social care homes. I develop articles and tools that I hope are helpful to you in developing a better future for our seniors. We'll talk about the brain, we'll talk about humans, we'll talk about a nasty disease, we'll talk about resilience, and there will be a story at the very end for a very unique person sitting here in this room. So we'll be looking for that person. So, briefly, Mother Nature has given us an unimaginable gift. Every species received something extra. Cheetahs receive speed, birds have wings, and Mother Nature looked at humans and said, oh shit, I'll give it a brain. Mother Nature gave us a brain, but it's not an organ for thinking. It is a survival organ. And even our survival organ has a certain negative inclination. It has a default setting telling it to be afraid. Human, just be afraid, be scared. If you hear some noise in the tall grass, do not expect a neighbor coming to you with a tasty soup. Expect that it's a tiger, it's a blade-toothed tiger that wants to kill you. So this fear is our default setting, but the times, they have changed. We do not have free-roaming tigers. At our latitudes, we do not have venomous spiders and sharks. We can only see them in the movies. Why is it so important? Our brains generate 6,200 thoughts every day. This is unimaginable. And within 1 minute, you generate more than 6 thoughts. How long will she be talking? When is lunch coming? Where is the toilet? This is all happening in the background all the time. And this is all happening in this gap between the two neurons. The number of neurotransmitters that determine our lives, our personalities, our dreams, and our ability to cope with the burden of the disease, whether we are a caregiver or a patient ourselves. And this is important because I will refer to that in the context of resilience, mental resilience. Our brain has to perform only 3 needs or 3 functions. Well, the defensive need tells us to survive. Whatever happens, you have to survive. Once you survive, now you have to hunt or steal something and eat something. So we have our drive to eat, and the most important thing, it will not be about sex, but we have the libido, the sexual drive. It says, human, you have to approach the other human, you have to establish the hunter-gatherer group and create reality together, and then we'll have future generations. So in the context of caring for other people, in neuropsychology today, Dr. Hansen clearly says that the defensive drive forces us to say, well, have you taken your medication? Call me when you get home. Where are my keys? Have I parked my car properly? So the feeling of safety and security in every moment of our lives tells us to avoid any harm. Put your hat on, tell me when you get home. Call me when you get home. Satisfaction is about mechanisms of aiming at the prize, at the award. You should eat something. You don't look good. I have done it especially for you. Satisfaction. And here, let me use an anecdotal evidence of 1967. The President of the United States, John Kennedy, was launching the NASA Center. He was walking around, and from the point of view of today, they had worse equipment than the smartphones that we carry in our pockets. But it was a historical moment. The US President was walking around the laboratories and asking every scientist, "What are you doing here? What are you doing here?" He was very enthusiastic, and he was listening to those wise responses. Mr. President, I am doing this and that in my work. And in all this process throughout the day, suddenly the president sees a cleaning lady. He turns towards her and asks her, what are you doing here? What do you do here? And she says, the cleaning lady just straightens up her uniform and she says, "Mr. President, with my work, I help send people into outer space." And this is about being satisfied with what we do, who we do it with, and why we do it, because it will be a very powerful tool charging our mental resilience and showing our resilience that even if we are on the floor, we will get up very soon. But the most important thing that we have been created for as humans is the sexual drive, telling us we will create relationships all the time. We will create those hunter-gatherer groups. We will take care of other people all the time. And I will prove you how many tools we have for that.
What I'm saying is just not what I came up with. This is knowledge from neuropsychology that you can learn in the publications of Dr. Hansen. Every brain needs to feel safe. Then it's going to look for satisfaction. You'll also try testing whether you have it, and if these two first things are present, it will allow us to build bonds. So a human being is a creature that, just like in the caves, is still establishing hunter-gatherer groups. We are hunting promotions on Black Friday, and we collect points in supermarkets, exchange them into promotional gifts. We have not changed that much, but what has changed is this. So we are experts in analyzing human faces. We are experts in reflecting human emotions. Or in mirroring them. We are experts in recognizing how you feel, even before you say a word. We really are experts in building relationships, interpersonal relationships, and this is our highest biological imperative. I mentioned that I will talk about a femur, because this is where it all started. Professor Margaret Mead, anthropologist, said, it's not the aqueducts, it's not the Columbus that reached America, I think it's India. And as the Copernicus said, that we circle around the sun. The most important achievement in our life was this broken femur that healed later on, that I found on the archaeological site. That meant that a long time ago in this cave, without 24/7 stores, convenience stores, somebody broke their leg, and it meant death. But this person did not die. This meant that somebody shared something they did not have. They shared their food, they provided care, and gave time for this person to heal. So our highest achievement, biological achievement, is how we are able to care for other people. It's enough to look at the person. We know that they are lying. Does it hurt? No. But I can hear that it hurts. But I can see that it hurts. You don't have to say anything. Just the way you walk, I know there's something wrong. So caring for others, it's in our DNA. So let's talk about disease. The worst definition I could create for you is a disease. It's a state where our mind and body undergoes the worst possible devastation. Worst possible devastation. Believe me, there is no other state in nature that would do more harm. A disease causes harm not only to the patient, but everybody around him or her. It impacts the family, the patient, you, if you provide care, and it impacts even the vacation side. You cannot go, and you cannot collect apples from a garden, for example, and to rest there. A disease is the quickest test of your mental toughness, because it says, okay, let me just check your resilience. Let's see if you're able to get up when you go down. Can you change the stress into a challenge? So let me check whether you're able to bounce back. You're saying to yourself, I can make it, or are you saying, I will die? Can you visualize everything? Let me check that. So this is what disease is about. I don't think I have to mention the name. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross once said that the most people I know who know the taste of defeat, who have known suffering, anguish, struggle, loss. They've learned the way of going out of the abyss. They have the sensitive understanding of life that feels there with compassion, that Professor mentioned, calmness and deep, loving care. Beautiful people don't come out of nowhere. Beautiful people come from the experience, from these dire straits, the resilience I like to discuss. We have not received it when we were born. We have not received it of bouncing back when we suffer. We have not received mental toughness, which is growing with age, thank God. The fact that we should cope and just press forward, push forward through life as best as I can. I should also use good words and nurture good thoughts. If we're talking about challenges in caring for others, I'd like to mention that looking at research, resilience comes when the disease comes in the patient and in the caregiver. There's this quote, they mention mental well-being. It means that you don't even know how much you can deal with unless a difficult experience comes. So the disease can teach you, it can guide you, or give a sense of your life somehow. When I reviewed all the research on caregivers in the context of everyone who's providing care for patients, the research clearly indicates that owing to this resilience, we cope better with our lives, and we have the ability to shape the well-being of our patients. This matters because this research tells you that you need to sleep more. You need to collect more positive emotions, and you need to see more satisfaction that I mentioned from your professional life. Why? Because resilience keeps you motivated better and more involved when you provide long-term care. Because it allows us to cope better with these difficult behaviors mentioned by Professor. We understand the aggression which is caused by some biological reasons. We provide more and better empathy, patience, and support. Resilience also allows us to stay healthy longer and less prone to depression and anxiety. So it's also about being adaptable to the changing disease, and we quicker draw conclusions for ourselves. Why does it matter? Because we only get one life. Why is it so damn important? Excuse the expression. Because if you manage stress better and remain calm, it's not only about disease, it's about your life situation that attacks you from all the sides. I'd like you to remember that the brain is changed the most by experience, any experience. And it makes a huge difference than to give your mother away to an old patient's home or to provide care for her in a residential institution. It's only about words. It's a difference between I will not ask for help because I will not feel right, but asking for help shows that you're wise, regardless of your role, whether you're a caregiver, a nurse, or a patient. Remember that asking for help is a sign of wisdom. It means that you're going to somebody you trust, you believe, and who in your world has more power than you have. Why does it matter? Because words we utter around 16,000 of every day change us not only on the biological level, but they change the chemistry in our brains and our bodies. It's not true that whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Well, it did not kill you, simply, but, the death of a loved one will not make you stronger. I don't think everybody has any doubt about this. Time does not heal anything. Time is not the best healer. If it did, in every pharmaceutical company, you could just say, transdermally, intravenously, inhaler, what time do you want to take? 15 minutes, 20 minutes, we have this healing time. That does not exist. The time is not a healer at all. Sometimes it can bring solace, but it will never heal anything. You should not believe that it doesn't matter whether glass is half full or half empty. It's not true. What matters is how long you're holding the glass. Because with every minute, it becomes heavier. Do not hold this pain and share it. Share the anxiety that goes beyond your own resources. And if a shoemaker's son always goes barefoot, just don't use the shoemaker. Just change the shoemaker as soon as possible. It shouldn't be like this that you as a professional and carer are the person who walks barefoot. Sleep, smile, take care of your body, because let me repeat this, you get only one life. And the story at the end, the fable, like to dedicate to the special person that's with you in the room, like you just to look to your left and right and see, because maybe this person is right next to you. What is more, if you're bold enough, you can even touch the person to your left and right. In the Tri-City, we say that if you touch the product, you own it. They won't hurt anyone. The skin is the largest organ of your body. So just therapeutical touch is very much recommended. All right, so just like to say that this fable, this story is dedicated to a special person, exceptional person who came here today, and the person who sits in your seat. I dedicate this story to this exceptional person. Young monks in Zen could not agree what's the most important thing in life. They would say the spiritual development, somebody said money, others said no, it's health, no, happiness, transcendence. They could never reach a conclusion, so they decided to ask their master, what's the most important thing in life? The master smiled and said, dear, 5 words: eat, drink, sleep, help, and love. And these young monks were so surprised with the answer, with the simplicity and beauty of the answer. But in a moment they thought, okay, I understand love and help, but we understand eat, sleep, and drink. They asked the master, master, how does it work about eating, drinking, and sleeping? And the master smiled again and said, eat, because it means that you have food, or you received it from somebody close to you. And be grateful, because it means that you can take care of yourself. Drink, because it means that in your village there is a well with healthy water you could not only quench your thirst with, but also take out a fire. And be grateful for living there. Sleep and be grateful, because it means that you can take care of yourself. And you have shelter. And not everybody today can go to sleep today in a safe place. Help, because it means that everything's all right with you. This means that you can start giving from this surplus and be grateful for making the world a better place with yourself and love. And if you want to love, start from yourself. and be grateful that you understood the sentence. So I'm very grateful to be here today for these 20 minutes. I'd just like you to think it over and to answer the question, what is it about these ulcers? So Professor Robert Sapolsky once said in his book, we people live long enough in good health and wealth, long enough, and we are intelligent enough to generate all kinds of possible stressful events only in our heads. So believe me, the zebra for sure does not care about this, whether she has folds on her stripes. Oh, and we do. I wish you all the best. Thank you for your attention, and thank you for being here. That's an excellent conclusion to the presentation, but you might have some questions or remarks or comments. Would you like to say anything? Anything you agree or disagree with? It's an extremely fascinating issue. A lot of room for debate opens up. I mean, to me, I don't agree with everything. I agree with the fact that the glass is not half full or half empty. So I'd like to encourage you to continue the debate in the corridors, but I'd like you to stay with us for a moment. There's this word resilience. Resilience is still a foreign word in Polish. It's just a carbon copy from English. We don't all speak fluent English. So in Polish it's like a direct translation, so resiliencia. So if you could try to discuss the difference between resilience and toughness or resistance. Imagine that you have a house, and the house, the most important place is what? The kitchen, right? Right? You would agree. I mean, that's where life is, where people do their homework in the kitchen. All your life issues are discussed in the kitchen. I mean, you have your guests in bedroom, in rooms, and you sleep somewhere. So resilience is the kitchen, and resistance is the house. So resilience is a component of resistance, and resilience says that's the time when you're pushed, and or your internal resources say, okay, let's try to get up somehow and be vertical. Don't run, don't dance, don't sleep, don't dream just to stand up on your feet. When you're looking at all the strength, when you gather all those strength, the courage to ask somebody for help, this is the time when you use your resilience. When you get up, your resistance will say, okay, that's another experience behind you. Remember that it will be 5,000 more or 20,000 times more this will happen. But I'll just put this on the list of things that happened, and next time when you have a similar event, I will show you what you can do, what strategy to use, because you've done that already. When you fell and you stood back up again. So that's about it's like a spring. When you push the spring, you need to find enough force to extend again, to straighten the spring. And so that's the difference. That's the kitchen that smells of fresh breath. That's the conversation around your favorite cup where you recharge your batteries and say, okay, I'll change the furniture next year, but I will not tell my husband for now. Thank you.